don't understand price action are essentially gambling with their finances. Here's how I know. Hello fellow traders, I'm Trader Tom with over a decade and a half of experience, as well as the founder of Simply Forex Trading Academy. I'm opening the doors to just 20 ambitious traders for my elite weekly masterclasses, where you get the chance to join an inner circle where ordinary traders turn into market experts. Dive deep into the art of price action trading across 4 intensive sessions. You'll emerge with ability to spot high probability trades, execute with confidence, and achieve consistent gains. Secure your spot immediately. Don't miss this exclusive opportunity to kickstart your journey. Can't wait to see you in class.
Hello traders, welcome to the Sit on Your Hands podcast. Lovely to see all of your faces. As you can see, guys, I have a guest today, which I will introduce very shortly. This podcast is going to be about managing your emotions and your psychology, guys. All right. So I'm sure you all have some questions related to this topic. So don't be shy. Come say hello, leave a question, and Zvi will get round to answering it towards the end of the show, guys. All right. So yeah, hi, guys. Zvi, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Hi, happy to be here.
Yeah, good. So Zvi's been trading for over 20 years now, and he is now a trading mindset coach. Okay, so not only does he have the trading experience, because we've had other, people that talk about psychology or mindset and haven't traded, whereas Zvi has traded for many years, and it's led him to being a trading mindset coach. So we have the best of both worlds, guys. So like I say, ask as many questions as you like. So Zvi, yeah, welcome to the podcast. As we know, we're going to talk everything psychology and mindset. So Zvi, I guess we should start with, what got you into focusing more on the psychology and the mindset of trading? What as you were trading, for many years, what made you really focus on this side, this element of trading?
Well, I didn't start focusing on this element of trading. I started focusing on getting better and better and better with the system and mechanical side of trading.
Yeah.
It didn't work. That's what got me focused on the mindset side. I mean, I remember working with a trading coach when I was trading for like 4 or 5 years. And I was doing everything right, when we were working together. And except for one thing, the actual live account wasn't making money. And that was going on for quite a while. And I asked him, what am I doing wrong? And he says, I don't know. You're doing everything okay when we're working together. I must be a psychological thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And
then
I can't help you with that one. How to read a chart from here to next year, but I can't help you with that one.
Yeah.
And really, nobody else could, so I kind of had to figure it out. And
okay. So you started figuring that out yourself, Zvi. You started researching, looking at books. How did you find out about psychology and the mindset and the importance of it?
Well, yeah, I started with focusing directly on trading psychology, which is something that a lot of people do. A lot of people have the idea that you need to learn about trading psychology. You need to read books about trading psychology and understand how other traders think and try to think like that. And I went through that process too. So after a few years, I was even more frustrated because now I knew everything about trading psychology, but it still wasn't working. I was still taking stupid trades, and I was still moving around and skipping systems and everything. Until you reach the point where you realize that trading psychology is not a separate entity from your psychology and your mindset. And you actually need to do the work. It's not something that you learn and is going to somehow magically click.
No.
It is something that you need to identify. Okay, I'm making this mistake. Why am I making this mistake? What is it that I'm afraid of? What is it that I'm reacting to? What is going on here? Start working.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the hard part. That's pretty much the line in the sand that separates the ones that start getting a handle on their trading psychology from the ones that just read about it.
Yeah, sure. So
start working on it and working on it in context of your personality and psychology, not as a separate issue.
yeah, that's interesting, because I always think of trading psychology separate from my psychology, but that's a really good point. They're the same thing. It's not something you separate. And also another good point there is, you can read all the books in the world and have all the theory and but really making practical moves to make the most of that theory is the key here, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That separation, that artificial separation between trading and the rest of your life really doesn't work. You do not have two brains. Person has one brain. He brings that brain into him when he's driving, when he's eating, when he's trading.
Yeah.
And all of your automatic thought patterns are the same. They don't even realize you're trading now because they're automatic and subconscious. You just do the same things, only now you do them on the market. If you tend to be fearful, you're going to tend to be fearful. If you tend to be unorganized, you're going to be unorganized when you're trading. The idea that I can organize my trading, but be a mess in everywhere else in my life, I'll just organize my trading. That doesn't work. I'll just be disciplined in my trading. I'll just be patient in my trading, but not in the rest of my life. That's not going to work.
No.
People try to do that. People actually hope they can do that because they really don't want to change themselves. They just want to make money.
Yes. Yeah.
But you really have to change a little wider than that.
Yeah. And you touched on there sort of doing the work, and we'll look at that in more detail later. But I guess we should start at what are the big mistakes, right? Because I'm sure you get a lot of traders come up to you and say, I'm impatient. I don't follow a plan. I'm indisciplined. What are some of the key common mistakes that you always see in traders? What are some of the big mindset psychological issues that you see time and time again?
I think the big mindset issues are not those, are not the ones that everybody keeps talking about, FOMO, and I'm hesitant to take the trade, and my emotions drive my trading. That's an important issue. You want to get rid of that. But the really two big issues in trading mindset where traders are off track and they're not even playing the right game at that time. The first one is the traders that are not really that are avoiding becoming professional minded. They avoid that. They want to have a system, but they don't really want to have a system, or they kind of procrastinate about ever getting it done. Or maybe if I don't have that many rules, I can trade a little more. And then you kind of try to force them into, okay, have a system to follow it. You're not afraid because of psychology. You're afraid because you really don't know what you're doing. And maybe you need to know what you're doing and have the data to back it up. And then you wouldn't be afraid. It's not a psychology issue. It's a system issue. The psychology is, why are you trading without a system that you trust and you have verified? Why are you putting your money at risk right now if you don't know what you're doing and you know that you don't know what you're doing? That's big trading psychology issue number one. Big trading psychology issue number two is working your fears into your system so you don't have to feel them. For example, and this is my own personal story. I was unable to sit through pullbacks. I was unable to hold. So I built my entire system about these huge setups, which are supposed to produce huge moves. And then as soon as they pop, I would take them.
Yeah.
And I could find my way to rationalize that, because everybody can rationalize anything.
Yeah.
But the real reason I would do that was not in order to be proactive in taking profits and seizing opportunities and just moving on to the next one, and 3-to-1 is fine, and all those rationalizations. The real reason I did that, I couldn't sit through a trend. I couldn't look at a trade fall back down. You know, so sometimes they don't work. They fall back down to your break-even stop. It's there for a reason. Sometimes they fall. And once I realized that, it became a lot easier. Once I understood that was what was behind it, then I figured, you know, it's better to actually face the issue than try to work around it.
Yes.
So it's really the issues that you're not even facing in your day-to-day trading, which are the real psychological issues.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so
it results in the emotional execution issues of the FOMO and the fear and the hesitation.
Yeah.
These are usually the result of something else.
Okay. And you would categorize it.
It's a little tricky, but that's the key.
Those two main things. So just to recap for our viewers, number one, people don't want to change themselves. They don't want to get into this professional Forex mindset because they resist change and it's difficult. Yeah. And number two, you were saying you would justify a system based on your own fears, but you were holding yourself back with these fears, and some of these trades had a lot more movement and, you know, could have been far more profitable as a result.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And then all the, you know, the FOMO, the maybe moving a stop loss or you know, all these smaller things are basically contributed or a byproduct of these two main things.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these execution issues, when you start, you know, double clicking on them and see, okay, what's behind that, what's behind that, what's behind that, you realize, okay, do you really know what you're doing here? No, I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe I ought to think about that. Are you sure what you need to do exactly in this situation? No, I'm not sure. Do you understand why your stop loss is set where you set it? No, that's kind of what the teacher said.
Yeah.
But I don't really understand why, so I never trust that stop to be placed. I don't really understand the reason why that stop is placed there. So every time it gets hit, I kind of get disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's going to get hit because I'm not sure if it should get hit or not in this situation because I don't really understand my system all the way through.
Yeah. Okay. And as we alluded to, there are many mistakes, right? Many trading mistakes, but we're almost looking back a step back to that and looking at the root of these mistakes. And you spoke about the issue you had, Zvi. So you were saying basically a trade would pop in your direction, you would take profit because of the fear of a retrace, which you were not good at handling. So when you say, so that was a specific problem for you and may well be for some of our viewers as well. You know, when you say you put in the work, how did you put in the work? How did you overcome this specific issue for yourself?
Okay, now let's look at this example. When you talk about fear of losing money or fear of missing out, these two fears, no trader is afraid of losing money. No trader is afraid of missing out. Look at traders, they keep losing money all the time. So as a fact, they're not afraid to lose money, right? If they were afraid to lose money, they would not be trading.
Yeah, exactly. You can have a 40%
the fact that they're trading
lose rate. Yeah,
it proves that they're not afraid to lose money. They're doing it over and over again. What they're really afraid of is something else. They're maybe afraid of losing money, which would show me that I really don't know what I'm doing, which I'm trying to kind of push away from my consciousness.
Right.
And every time I lose money, it blows up in my face, and that hurts.
Yeah.
And once you realize that that's what you're afraid of, okay, you get to work on that. And then you're a lot more comfortable with losses, which you understand. You understand your risk. You understand your probabilities. You're a lot more comfortable with losing half or 60% of your trades if you know that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And you know that it's 1 hour against 4 or 5 hours, and you don't care. You're no longer worried about losing because it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't trigger you. It's the result that it's the what does the loss trigger? That's what you're afraid of. Same on the other side, missing out. Fear of missing out. We're not really afraid of missing out. We miss out every day on hundreds of trades. Missing out on one more doesn't change anything, right? And we all know that. I mean, you trade Forex, you don't trade futures, so you're missing out all the great stuff in futures. Some other guy trades stocks, doesn't trade Forex. He's missing out on all the great trades in Forex. If you're a swing trader, you're going to miss out on the intraday moves. Everybody's missing something, so you're not really afraid of missing out, right? So what are you really afraid of? The frustration. Fear of missing out is really pretty much about frustration. It's about I'm afraid to miss out because I don't like where I am right now. And every profit is that hope that I'll finally not be where I am right now. Where I am with my trading, where I am with my financials, where I am with my life, where I am with my feeling successful, whatever. On the personal side that I'm frustrated with, I'm throwing all of that on that winning trade. I'm projecting all that on that winning trade. Now, that I do not want to miss out on. I don't want to miss out on success. I don't want to miss out on making money. It's not the trade. So and if we go back to that example of fear of sitting back through losses, every time that move would fall back, I would feel like an idiot that couldn't get his system together because I really wasn't sure what to do. I had the entries nailed more or less. But like a lot of traders, I did not really give in the thought to the exits. 99% of the signals and talk on groups and everything is always about entries. It's never about trade management and exits. So me too. I had pretty good entries, but I hadn't a real clue on strategically how I want to manage my trades. So every time one of those would fall down, it would be a blow to my face. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to manage a trade. You have no strategy. You're jumping between two strategies. Do I want to go short term? Do I want to go long term? Do I want to take profits? Do I not want to take profits? You keep jumping back and forth. You don't know what you're doing. And I would jump back and forth. Every few trades that would fall down, I would start being more aggressive on profit taking. That worked. I would start moving back. And then it would fall down. And then I get caught in that circle, which I'm sure everybody has gone through at some point. Once I realized, okay, I really need to put a lot more work into a clearly logical, sound-based trade management strategy, not just the entries, then okay, it was easier to make my decision on what it is I want to do, and then I just did it.
So on that thought, so would you say a lot of these psychological problems are more of a practical competency as a trader, and perhaps some of them are okay, and you don't necessarily have the plan in place? So for a lot of these issues, would you say, obviously some of them, not all of them, but would you say just getting that trading plan, the example you used, you didn't have a trade management plan, is that an answer for a lot of the issues? Sort of getting a plan down on paper, making emotions less possible, if you like, because you've got everything written down.
Well, theoretically it is. And a lot of time we get there. A lot of times, we'd be working with somebody and their homework would be completely technical. Go clear up your setup because you're not sure when you want to enter. No wonder you get stressed. You're trying to do 2 entries at the same time and it's not working. Figure yourself out.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's all it takes. Usually there's something more. Why is there something more? Because the person knows that their system is not clean. Yet they are trading it. Why? Why are you in that hurry to trade and trying to make money with a system that you honestly know that you're not sure of?
Yeah.
Yet you're putting real money on the line. Why are you making this issue over and over and over again and not, making that decision? Sometimes that decision what to do, especially with entries. Sometimes deciding on my rules would limit the number of opportunities I have to trade.
Yeah.
So, boredom, excitement issues or whatever. Sometimes people on their personal side are very, very pressed to finally show results. They don't have an endless oxygen line from their family, from themselves, from their financials, from their work, from whatever. And they're under huge pressure to perform. And that pushes, I don't have time to deal with that right now. I need to make money. Now that's a very real feeling.
Yeah.
You need to address those feelings. You need to respect them, and you need to figure out a solution for them. Otherwise, you're going to hit self-sabotage. Trading without a system is a form of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Because you're literally putting money that you don't know what you're doing with, and it's real money, and you're really losing it. Plus, you're wasting real years doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about years. I mean, let's face it, traders can be stuck, and I'm sure you've seen that with your coaching clients, people that come into you and they've been trading not a year or two, but they've been trading 7 or 10 years.
Yes.
And been going around in circles for those 7 or 10 years.
Yeah.
And they know a lot. And they know a lot, but they're walking around in circles for 7 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're blocking themselves and they're sabotaging themselves, and there's an issue there that they can't seem to face and get over.
So you speak about self-sabotage there, Zvi, and so there's a self-sabotage in terms of trading a system which arguably doesn't work. What other self-sabotage examples can you give us?
Traders self-sabotage in the weirdest ways. The obvious ones are really, trading without a system and tilting. And by that I mean, not being able to stop. And traders, I have a $400 a day maximum limit, and then I lost $2,000. How do you do that? You had a rule for $4,000. Yeah, but that's self-sabotage. Anything where you are acting against your own good judgment, I categorize as self-sabotage. But self-sabotage really is, I think, one of the most misunderstood concepts in trading psychology. People look at self-sabotage as a crazy person that kind of shoots himself in the foot. And I'll give a few more examples of how people shoot themselves in the foot later. But that's we really look at that as something that is, what is that guy? Self-sabotaging. It's inappropriate, wrong, get yourself together. What are you, crazy? Whatever. There's a lot of judgment around that, a round of shame around that. People feel that there's something going on, but they can't understand why. And then, they just don't want to touch it altogether, and they just try to grit through it, and it doesn't work.
We've lost you there for a second. Just while we wait for Zvi to come back, guys, if you're enjoying what Zvi has to say and all of his tips and advice, then please check out his website in the link where he mentors traders just like yourself, guys. All right, so don't forget to check Zvi's link out and website. Sorry, Zvi, we lost you for a bit there. So yeah. You're back to attack. So yeah, you were talking about self-sabotage.
I'm sure you did good by now. Anyway, self-sabotage is really an issue of internal conflict. You want to make money, but you want something else more. For example, and that something else is usually a very real need that you should respect and look in the eye and solve. For example, the best example I give here is a guy that's had an uncle that made a lot of money trading. And he became a real asshole about it. That uncle. He would manipulate his family and brag his money, and he became a real pain.
Yeah.
Now, somewhere down the subconscious line, that person says, okay, if I make money, I'm going to turn into my uncle. I don't want to do that. And they will self-sabotage in the weirdest ways. But basically, they're protecting their own self-integrity by doing that. That's the mind's best solution. The mind figured out a solution to a very real problem. You do not want to turn into your uncle, no matter what.
Yeah.
But there are easier things, if you want to, if you want action, if you're bored, if you want to feel like a genius or feel like a master, and you've been struggling with failure for a long time, and you really need to succeed, kind of an ego thing. All of these kind of internal struggles are going to get you to take very strange actions.
Yeah.
And the key to really solving that is figuring out what is it that this behavior is getting me. What am I gaining from this behavior? Because you're doing something over and over again, you're gaining something from it. Your brain is doing that. It's clicking the button. You're gaining something from it. Figure out what it is. You're protecting yourself from something with this action.
Yeah.
What is that? What would happen if you didn't do that for a while?
Yes. Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but it's strange, how how we can self-sabotage like that. I mean, as a trader, I try not to fixate on the money. It took me years to separate my, I'm not trading money. I'm trading a chart, and it's about percentages. And that took me a long time to break that association with money. And there's a lots of contradictions in trading, like less is more. It's not like any other job where you put all the hours in and you get your rewards. And, there were some psychological things there I had to overcome. But this wanting to make money was there from the start, and breaking all that down. I couldn't really tell you how I did it, but that was an example of me facing a problem that I had. But then again, I didn't, I wasn't sure how I overcome that, or what is it? Why was I doing this behavior? I couldn't tell you. Maybe I wasn't aware of the issue or the problem. Maybe there's still some issues there I'm not aware of. So I guess my point is how to become aware of it and find out what that thing is that you need to look in the face and say, right, I need to sort this out because it keeps sabotaging my trading. How do you find the problem? How do you confront it?
Well, first of all, I wish there was a cookbook answer to that, and kind of a real textbook on how do you dig up your own subconscious. That took me a few years of work to not figure that out, but to learn how to do that.
Yeah,
actually learn how to work with subconscious automatic thought patterns and figure out things like that with people. But the thing is that, like you said, you weren't aware of a lot of the reasons why you were doing this. And that's very common because most of what we do on an everyday basis, we're not really aware of. We're kind of driving on autopilot most of our lives. And at levels that we don't even think about. But like you said, less is more. We have ingrained in our brain from a very young age that we need to work harder, that we need to work to get results. I struggled with that one a lot. Because of that automatic thought pattern, If you didn't get the result, it's probably because you didn't work hard enough and you didn't look closely enough. I would start taking a chart and figuring out how I can turn this thing into a trade. Now, at the time I was mostly swing trading, so I had all the time in the world to figure that out. Give me a chart, give me enough time, and I will find out a way to trade that thing. But it's not a good way to trade it. It's just forcing a chart that really has nothing on it. But you don't want to let things go because you didn't put in the work. We're talking about fear of missing out. It's not fear of missing out. It's fear of missing out because you didn't put the work.
Yeah.
That is a moral statement. Unlike FOMO. And I'm not going to miss out because I didn't do the work. So I'm going to do the work on all the charts that I can see, which got me in a lot of trouble. Now, you're not even aware you're doing that.
No.
But once you are aware of doing that and you change that automatic thought pattern of how you think, not only in trading, but in a lot of other things. Trading is not the only place where less is more.
No.
There's a lot of things in life where... There's a lot of things in life where pushing harder is not necessarily the right answer. Some things it is, some things it isn't. But being open to that idea it affects your life in a lot more than just trading. But all that work with automatic subconscious thought patterns, is something that does require a certain level of tools to do it effectively. If I would throw in one that people can really try and do by themselves. And it doesn't always work by yourself because sometimes you're really unaware of what's going on. But sometimes you're kind of almost aware of what's going on. In those cases, it'll work. Is really ask yourself 2 questions. And then ask yourself these questions very quietly and go with that first gut answer that's completely politically inappropriate and because that's what you're trying to really not face. Most of the things that we we don't want to face, we don't feel too good about.
No.
So if you start, no, it's not that, it's that. And ask yourself 2 questions. One is, what am I gaining from this behavior? Assume you're gaining something. What are you gaining from this behavior? Could be, when it works, I feel like a genius. It could be, if this worked, I could finally buy that car that my wife is nagging me about for 2 years and I'm not making any money. It could be a lot of things. Second question would be, what is this behavior protecting you from? For example, if I were to set a very clear entry rule, I would have to. There would be days that I would sit in front of the screen and not trade. That would drive me crazy. So I don't want to get into that work, and I keep postponing it to next week, like writing down my rules. Because if I were to do that, then next week's going to be very boring. That's just a classic example. There are a lot more examples. It could be the guy's uncle that I don't want to turn into. It could be, if I made money, I'd move to a better neighborhood, but I kind of like it here. And, my family wants to move as soon as I make money, so maybe I don't want to move. And once you figure that out, maybe there's a grown-up solution that satisfies everybody. That will get what you need and allow you to trade.
So just to recap there, Zvi. So the first question is, what am I benefiting from this behavior? And number 2 is, what is this behavior protecting me from?
Exactly.
And those 2 questions on their own will start making us, I guess, a little bit more aware of our subconscious.
Yes, and the second tip that goes with that is, do not be judgmental of yourself, because we tend to be traders tend to be people in general, but traders around their trading and their own trading psychology are very, very, very judgmental to themselves as a group. Every trader I've ever talked to, you start talking to them about their psychology. No, you don't want to know. I'm a real mess. They all say that. Yeah. And really, you know, accepting these things for what they are. We are human. Humans are gushy and inconsistent and full of a lot of conflicting belief and a lot of weird beliefs that we picked up when we were 3 years old. And a lot of stuff's going on in our mind. And if you accept that and you accept these things and you're willing to accept them non-judgmentally, you can actually start doing something about them. I saw a post on a forum the other day with somebody, you know, I broke my stop loss again and blah, 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 and I'm ashamed, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, okay, being ashamed is not very useful. Manning up to what you just did and figuring out how never to do it again and never doing it again, that's useful.
Yeah.
If you're just going to feel ashamed and judgmental, then you're going to cry it out, and then you're going to come in tomorrow and do the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's really not very useful. Man up to the things, look them in the eye, respect them because they're real issues.
Yeah.
Don't downplay them. Figure out the grown-up solution.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Zvi, and just you know, generally asking more questions about ourselves. Would you say that's a healthy approach? I know you give us 2 good questions to ask ourselves, but just keep questioning your behavior, good and bad.
Keep questioning your behavior, yes. Too many questions will start sending you spinning on a few dangerous routes. Okay. They will distract you from your actual trading in some sense, and you know, you might get hung up on the questioning. The questioning does need to be very driven to the right directions to be productive. But if you're feeling, if you have a bad trade, where did it start? Revenge trading is a classic. You know, people try to solve the revenge trade. The problem is usually not in the revenge trade, because you know, you took the revenge because you're pissed.
It's the mistake in the first place.
Where did that mistake start?
Yeah.
Back. Maybe it was a trade before which you knew you shouldn't have taken, and now you're pissed at yourself, not at the markets. Maybe it's yesterday. Maybe you came into the markets unfocused and you knew it because you just had a big fight or whatever, and you knew it, but you went in anyway. So it's not about the revenge trade. It's about where did this start and moving back. Was I calm here? When was the last time I was calm? Okay, an hour earlier. Okay, what happened in the middle? And you start working around that. Again, it's not always easy to do it yourself, but it is tools that you can try and use by yourself. Yeah, definitely.
And you know, and Zvi, so you know, we're all different creatures. We've all got different minds and how we process things and how we look at things. We're all different creatures, and our thoughts, beliefs, how we've been nurtured in this world all lead to that, right? Now, if we think about our mindset and psychology, can we get a trading system, or is this the holy grail where we get a trading system that matches our psychology? You know, for example, you know, maybe we are someone who does need to take a lot of trades in a day. Should they be a scalper? Maybe someone's a lot more patient, maybe has full-time job. Should he be a swing trader? Can you marry mindset and psychology with strategy?
You have to. To an extent, you have to. And I'll explain the to an extent. You definitely have to fit your trading system with your life circumstances. If you're working a 10-hour job, you cannot day trade in those hours. It will do a disservice to both sides. Even if technically you can have another application open on your computer while you work, you're doing a disservice to both, and both of them need the full of you. So that would be a bad idea. I remember many years back when I first tried to go full-time trading, and then landed back in my old day job after a year because I wasn't making enough. And I was trying to do the same things that I did when I was trading full-time. So as a swing trader, I was able when I was trading full time to look at basically the whole market. I could look at hundreds of stocks every week. And I couldn't do that when I was busy in a manager position job.
Yeah.
So I started noticing that I was losing touch on the market. I was losing feel on the market. I was buying that, that lame sheep that was running last after the herd. I see, losing my feel on the market. So you can't do the same things if your life circumstances don't allow it. Psychology, definitely, you need to fit the personality. And if a trading system does not fit the personality, you will not be able to follow it. You can find a guru that will say, take profit as soon as it's available. And you're going to find a guru that says, sit that trend out until it throws you out. Yeah. They're both right, but they have different personalities.
Yeah.
Now, I had a teacher once, his statement was my way or the highway. He would put in a limit order. I don't care if it doesn't get filled. This is the way I trade. Zero FOMO. The man did not know. That was the way he lived his life. I knew that guy personally for many years. That's the way the guy lived his life. He didn't give a damn about what anybody thinks.
No.
He did things his way, and if it didn't work his way, that's fine. But he does it his way. So a system like that works perfectly for him.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily work for anybody else, but it fits his personality. So yes, you would definitely need, and anybody who is, I tried trading very short term, discretionary. And then I realized in nowhere else in my life can I make split-second decisions or split-minute decisions. I need time to think. If you want me to be discretionary, I need time to think.
Yeah.
And I would say, no, on my swing trading, I look over 20 stocks in the weekend. By Monday morning, I narrowed it down to 2 because I had time to think. I can't do that intraday on 2-minute charts. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's not for me. If I want to trade short term, I need to be more mechanical in my rules because I can't start making decisions short term off the general chart story. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you got to suit your personality, the strategy that you adopt. 100%. Zvi, we're going to look at a few questions now. So a few people just saying psychology is my downfall. And I'm sure a lot of traders feel like that. You're not alone, guys. This guy is very smart. I assume they're talking about you, Zvi, not me. So yeah, there you go. We've got a question here. Why do I start to doubt my trading, get scared every time I get a few losses, even if I'm profitable overall? So basically a run of bad trades, why does that make you start, doubting everything, getting scared? What's at work there?
What's at work there is that this trader, and I guess I would have to know a little more, Vlad, about your trading and you, but I'm taking a wild guess here that you say you are profitable overall. Profitable is a result. The numbers are positive. The numbers are green. The question is, am I systematic enough in my results? Are my results repeatable? In that case, I start at it, because as long as it's not, I'm still attributing my results to luck. Once my results start being consistent, not necessarily you make $5,000 every month, because trading doesn't work that way. You'll have a winning month and a losing month and all over the place. Results are very fluctuating. But if your performance and your trading is consistent and you keep doing the same things over and over and over again, and they overall statistically tend to produce the same types of results over and over again, then you would probably not doubt if you get a few losses in a row. Let's take the classical example of probability books. I'm sure if our trading system was flipping a coin, every once in a while you're gonna flip 4 heads in a row, but you have zero doubt about the probabilities just because that happened. You still know it's 50%.
Yeah.
You still know if you win two are on tails and lose 1 are on heads, you're good to go with these probabilities. So you're not going to even think about about doubting your trading.
Yeah.
If you get 10 in a row, you're going to check your coin. But if you get 4 in a row, you're not going to check your coin.
No.
You're going to wait it out.
Yeah.
Because you have a bigger perspective of what you're doing than just those last few trades. So they're in context.
Yeah.
What is lacking in this case is context of what typical drawdowns and losing streaks should I expect. I typically tell traders, put the position size that you can lose 10 times in a row without blinking and without changing your strategy. Why? Because you're going to lose 5 or 6 times in a row multiple times. And that should make you think. That's normal. For most strategies, that's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
So you don't want to blink there. So you need another layer. Hey, that's too small. Yeah, but you need it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. It's very great. So Vlad, I hope that answers your question there. We've got another question here, Zvi. So Itarus, hey guys, how to control your emotions when you're leaving your position for a few days and you don't see the result you would like to see, but you know it's a good decision, a good trade to leave that position open. So I guess this is talking about drawdown. When a trade goes against you, you know it's a good entry, you've got your take profit set, but the trade's going against you, you're experiencing drawdown.
Yeah, well, there's the textbook answer here. Mark Douglas, think of everything in terms of probabilities. You never know which trade's going to work, etc., etc. And there's a lot of truth in that textbook answer. There's a reason it's in all the textbooks.
Yes.
Because the fact that you have a perfect setup does not mean it's going to run, does not even mean it's going to make money. It doesn't mean it's going to fall straight to your stop if it doesn't work. It could do anything it wants from that point, and it's your job to kind of have a very clear management situation. What do you do in these situations? The reason that you have emotions at this point is that you were prepared for the two extremes. You're prepared if it falls straight to your stop. That's that I expected. I put a stop in place. I had an answer for that. You're prepared for if it works. You have a target or a trailing stop or whatever. You have a strategy for that. What do I do if it doesn't work? I didn't really plan on that one. I kind of planned on 2, and the third one will work itself out. We don't plan all the scenarios. Because we can't really plan all the scenarios. There are endless scenarios. And what happens is if you hit a scenario that you didn't really have a plan for, then you start getting emotional because, hey, I'm in uncharted territory here. I don't know what to do. That's why I'm emotional, not because the trade's not moving. Yeah. I know a guy that had a very clear system. He would trade swing trades all week. Friday afternoon, anything that didn't work this week, he would just shoot. He'd kill it. Friday and Friday. I call it. There, he solved the solution. Is it perfect? I don't know. No. But he had an answer which is better than no answer, and that actually kind of makes sense in some way, and it worked for him. Now, selling really, we're all focused on entries most of the time. The hard part is selling. Selling is very hard, both technically and emotionally. There are a lot more opportunity, a lot more branches in the tree, in the decision tree, than there are in buying, because things can evolve in a whole lot of different ways. You can't choose to sit out like you can in buying. If it's not my setup, I'm not going to buy. you're in. You have to decide for every possible scenario. You're going to have to decide what to do. So it's harder. It doesn't work all your way. And you never sell at the top. So there's always that feeling you're always going to miss something. You know, you can buy perfectly on your signal. It's not the bottom tick, but it's okay. It's perfectly on your signal. So you still feel it's a perfect buy. But when you're selling, you're always feeling like there was a better strategy to play this one. And so selling is really where there's a lot more emotion usually than buying. People can get to having a clear setup and just buy those setups. But the emotions start picking up later because of the variability of the way things evolve.
Yeah, and especially with stocks as well.
With stocks and pretty much with anything. I mean, you expect certain things and certain big moves sometimes. Sometimes they just kind of don't happen.
Yeah.
Wobble around and then the big move shows up.
Yeah. Okay. So, Ataras, I hope that helps with that one. So, this is just quite a general one. So, any tips to hold focus? Pooh Poppy says, I can't find the drive I used to have and struggling with focus. Is there any practical things that, our viewers could try, Zvi?
Yeah. The first tip to hold focus, I would say, and I know this is very unorthodox, don't. Know your focus. If you can sit and trade for 30 minutes a session, let's say you're a scalper, and you can trade 30 minutes and then you lose focus, that's your session.
Yeah.
Just accept it, fit it to yourself. If you can't, if you have ADHD and you cannot sit in front of a screen and concentrate on it, maybe sitting in front of a screen is not a good strategy for you because it requires something that's not good for you. Know your focus, know when it's easy for you to hold focus, and stay in your comfort zone. This is not the place to push. You could do things. There's a lot of things you can do to increase your stamina and ability to hold focus. But it's usually not the first thing you need to do. It's really more about knowing when you are focused and knowing when you're not and being able to get up. That's the hard one. Accepting that my focus is 30 minutes, and after 30 minutes, I'm out for a walk, and I will come back later for another 30 minutes. And I don't care what happened in the middle, just like I don't care what happened when I sleep, or what happened in the stock market while I'm trading Forex. I just don't care. This is my session. Now, drive is a different issue, and this may be an example. Again, I'm guessing, P-O-O-P, puppy. I am guessing without knowing you, but not being able to find the drive, if there's a drop in the drive, focus is going to drop. Why am I not focused? Because I don't really want to be here right now. Now, if we look that one in the eye and we accept it, that my drive right now is not where it used to be, okay, let's figure out why that is. Maybe the right thing to do, and I've done this multiple times, take a long break, months sometimes, a year sometimes. Take a long break. You don't have the drive in you, and then come back. Maybe it's a weekend. First time I went trading full time, I literally did not take a day off for 2 years.
Yeah.
Until I crashed and burned, and I just had to. Because I physically couldn't go to the screen tomorrow. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't open the screen anymore. Sometimes the drive drops because you've been in it too long. Sometimes the drive drops because you're frustrated. Sometimes there's no drive because you really start thinking, okay, is this really what I want to do? As society pushes a lot of standardized dreams for traders. We're all supposed to want the same thing. We want to trade full time. We want cars and yachts and whatever. We want the flashes. We want a lot of things. Maybe I don't want to trade full time, and really that's not the kind of life I want. I'm happy trading.
Yeah.
No, longer term, a day a week, whatever fits me as part of my of a well-balanced life. Maybe I don't want to trade full time and I'm tired of it, and because it's really not good for me. And maybe I accept that and I change my strategy to something that allows me to do other things. And there the drive comes back, because it's not struggling with a very deeper need anymore.
Yeah.
Of course, very personal, and this may relate to you. The person who asked the question, this may be completely off base on you personally, but it may relate to someone else. But similar questions. Oh, I got audited. It changed everything.
But
this is not fun for me anymore. It is not fun for me anymore.
But the thing is to question it. Don't be, the thing I've really learned here is, Zvi, along with lots of other things, and, I've really enjoyed this interview, I'm sure our viewers have as well, is don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. Look yourself in the mirror, or, approach that question and ask the hard questions to get under the surface and delve a little deeper. Otherwise, you'll just go on blissfully unaware, and you may well be self-sabotaging. You might be trading a system that's not really working, and that, if you are doing those things, that has to stop. And whatever it takes for you to stop that usually involves some kind of asking the difficult questions and the difficult task of then finding your way out of them, putting in the hard work, as you say, Zvi. So it's been brilliant, Zvi. I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. So thank you very much for your time. And guys, if I could just point everyone to Zvi's website, it's in the link below the vid. As you may or may not know, Zvi is a full-time mindset coach and helps many traders. So if you would like to get some help from Zvi, then go check out his website. And Zvi, really enjoyed it, mate. Thank you very much for your time, and let's do this again sometime.
Be happy to, Tom. Thanks a lot. Had my share of fun here too.
Brilliant. All right.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Thanks,
Zvi.
guys,
Thank
for the
you
questions.